And good morning. Welcome to the Out and About Show on 1590 KVGB, fourth Thursday of the month. That means focus on Stafford County here on 1590 KVGB. Joining me on the show via the telephone today, joining us from St. John is Stafford County Economic Development Director Carolyn Dunn and Program Director Ashley Bevan on the program today. A lot of good topics to talk about. Guys, thanks for joining me from the, the office boardroom at the think tank at Stafford County Economic Development. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for accommodating us and letting us call in.
Ashley, we'll go ahead and start with you today. And tell me about the 12 businesses that have signed up so far to participate in something called the Youth Entrepreneurship Competition. Kind of tell me what that competition's all about, and then we'll kind of talk about some of the businesses and the event itself.
So this is through our partnership with Network Kansas. We are an e-community for them. We promote entrepreneurship through many different ways. Specifically with this one, we encourage our high school students to pitch business ideas to a panel of judges at their chance to win prize money. Last year, we hosted the event here in St. John, but this year we're actually just sponsoring our students, and they will compete in Jetmore early March. So far, we have 12 businesses that are signed up. We will see who actually follows through with business ideas come Monday when the deadline is for executive summaries. And that's a huge jump from last year. Last year, we only had 5 businesses that competed with a range of lip balm to photography, DVD or VHS to DVD conversion, a bread mix. So I'm impressed that we have 7 more businesses signed up this year to compete. After they submit executive summaries this coming Monday, they'll have until competition day, March 13th, to work on their 2-minute elevator pitch that they will give to a panel of judges. So Carolyn and we're here at the office, and we're willing to help those students kind of polish up their executive summaries and work with them on their elevator pitch for the day of competition. So we hope it goes well this year.
Obviously, I would finish last in this place because really I don't understand an executive summary. Kind of tell me what's going to be included in that for these students.
It's, in a way, it's totally different than what I was taught in college, I'll be honest. In my mind and what I was taught, an executive summary is a short paragraph overview of what your business really is. For this competition's sake, it's really a business plan is what this executive summary ends up being. And so you talk about your management aspects. You know, if you have a team, who's part of your team, who's dealing with your finances, and who's doing your sales. And then you do have to line out your finances. They kind of a cash flow statement is what they like to see. You know, is your business going to be profitable? So that kind of overview, I guess.
Tell me about an elevator pitch. Is this a quick one you have to give to somebody? No, I'm not going to. While you're going up an elevator, you only have 2 minutes. You better get it across quick. I don't think that's probably what it is. Explain an elevator pitch to me, Ashley.
No, I think you're exactly right. I think the term comes from the idea that you can explain something in the amount of time that you would be with someone in an elevator. If you can't get your idea across succinctly in a way that kind of captures attention in that short amount of time, then people aren't going to be interested. So I think that's exactly it. The idea of giving a summary that's short enough to be done in a minute or so, the amount of time that one might be in an elevator with someone.
Well, I hope it's on the 100th floor because I have trouble getting my my idea.
Yeah, I guess around here the elevator pitch really might be fast because I can't think of many that are beyond like maybe 3 floors.
Yeah, the skyscraper pitch might be a better one, but
you know, I think that some of the things that's kind of exciting that are coming from this type of activity. You know, we've been doing work with youth here for 5 years or so now. And I got an email today from St. John High School. They're doing a career day in March, and one of the things that students have expressed some interest in is starting their own business. So we're going to try to line up some speakers that can speak to that. You know, some of the things that we've been discussing in some of the high school programs recently, too, are the idea of adding to what we've already been doing some more opportunities for job shadowing. And so I might just throw that out there to people listening. You know, if you've got a business and you think it's important that, you know, employees are going to be available to you on down the road that are knowledgeable about your industry,
maybe, I'm going to encourage you to contact someone like our office and let us know, so that if we did have students that are expressing an interest in some broad field, we'd have an idea of what businesses might we pair them with to do some job shadowing. I think it's a way to both cultivate employees, potentially also independent businesses, but, sometimes students don't get a real understanding of what their interests really are until they've had that more direct exposure to a wide range of things in life. And the more we can provide those kinds of opportunities, the better off I think we all are.
Some of the kids that you brought up here 5 years ago for some of those entrepreneurship classes, they weren't very old. These are kind of the seeds of that process that got started 5 years ago, Carolyn, right?
It's true. It's long-term work. But, I continue to hear stories sometimes of those successes in businesses on down the road are ones that really got their start in someone's mind when they were a teenager. One of them that's kind of top of mind to me right now is not a local Kansas business, it's a Minnesota business, but it's a young woman who has put together a small cheese manufacturing facility. And if you read her bio, she originally got interested in this type of work when she was 16 years old. She spent time not only job shadowing, but also working as an employee in various aspects of food manufacturing or sales or cheese making for several years before she came back to her home and started her own extension of the family dairy that's now a cheese making business. It's the career path that I would love to help replicate over and over again. Whether it's manufacturing or service, one of the things that we've talked about here is that we go out of this area for a lot of business services, like accounting, legal work, a lot of things related to land transactions, abstracting, and title work, a lot of that stuff that is kind of tied to our geographic location, but nonetheless, we tend to go out of the area to pay for the services that are needed related to it. Sometimes you don't have to be manufacturing some new widget in order to be entrepreneurial. Setting up more of that kind of business here would be a type of an entrepreneurship, and I hope we can kind of get that message out to more and more, not only students, but those who might help them along the way along that path, and that's kind of why I'd like to make that appeal to those kinds of people who might be listening today.
How's the bread mix going?
Well, we're continuing to promote it. There's not a whole lot new to report there. There's been some transition in the staff that are involved with it, but we still are giving it some attention. One of the things we've toyed with is the idea of finding an intern for the summer that might be interested in focusing on that. So if you know of anybody from this area that's interested in kind of food sales, knowing that part of the industry, food manufacturing and sales, hey, have them give us a call. We might be able to set something up for them.
Okay, Ashley, real quick, I mean, I know you're excited. That's kind of cool. 12 different businesses have signed up for this youth entrepreneurship competition. That's got to be exciting for you.
It's very exciting. And like I said, that's 7 more businesses than what we had compete last year. So I'm excited for this jump.
All right, we'll take a break. Focus on Stafford County here on 1590 KVGB. Back with more right after this. Back on Focus on Stafford County today, Carolyn Dunn, Stafford County Economic Development Director, along with Program Director Ashley Bevan, joining us on the program. All right, it's this show. That means we've got to talk about grocery stores. Carolyn, what's the latest down there on attracting a new store to the St. John area?
Well, we've received some additional funding that's allowing us to move forward with the purchase of land. So that is the major development of the month, is that we will move forward on purchasing land. Still kind of working through some store design concepts and some issues with an operator, but hopefully we'll have some of that nailed down. It'll be exciting when we can announce everything.
Okay, but and that's going forward with a location near Highway 281 then?
It is. It's basically 5th Street and 281 in St. John.
Okay. Anything new on a pharmacy to be located in that store or around the store?
We do have a pharmacist that's planning to come here. That might also be part of the broader announcement when we can nail down letters of intent is what I've learned the process needs to include. So
okay,
at that point, we'll tell you all the details.
So quit poking around so much on this then, right?
No, I probably cautious when it comes to the idea of making sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed before we talk about it on the radio.
Well,
even though I want to scream at rooftops.
It's not official yet. It's not official yet. But if everything comes in place, is a pharmacy almost as important as a grocery store?
I think that's a good way of putting it. I mean, we are probably more fundamentally looking at the food as something everybody eats every day, but we also, that's just kind of modern society. We also depend a lot on prescription medicine, and we're going out of county for that right now. The more that we can kind of have a center of activity here that provides all the services that people need and are currently going elsewhere for, the more successful all of it is.
Well, I will say I did get on Wyatt Thompson to voice the Kansas State Wildcats because when Kansas played Kansas State in Manhattan a few weeks ago, at halftime, this is Sunflower Showdown brought to you by Dillon's, right? And Wyatt talked to one of the executives from Dillon's, and what a perfect opportunity. I told Wyatt well, go ahead and ask. You've got Dean Wade on your basketball team. What a perfect time to ask, and why they closed down the store in St. John, but he didn't.
I would have loved to have heard that.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have gone over since Dillon's and Kroger are a big sponsorship of that. But I was just kind of joshing.
Well, we have discussed the idea that it would be wonderful to have Dean Wade a part of the grand opening, ceremonies of such. But we'll just have to make sure that fits with basketball season.
Okay, let's go ahead. Business Incubator, where are we at on that as far as your fundraising goal and what needs to be done on the Business Incubator in downtown St. John?
Recently got an additional contribution, so we're about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way to our final goal, and I can see the end in sight. So I'm just hopeful that with one more good contribution, we'll be ready to start construction, and so I think we're getting closer.
And is it too early for people to inquire about being the people that are in that business incubator?
No, it's not too early. I think it could be really helpful for us and them. It might even be something that would help us get our last push of funding if we knew for sure that there was a solid, certain proposal going in from the get-go. So it's not too early. We would welcome that.
Okay.
Definitely not. And even early March, Carolyn and I are going to spend a day up at K-State at their Business Innovators Opportunity Expo promoting our incubator. So we're excited.
Okay, give me an elevator explanation. And, just for people maybe hearing about this for the first time, just an elevator explanation on what the Business Incubator is and what it will be in St. John.
Well, I think the thing that we see as a barrier to getting business started is that sometimes when you have to do all of it from scratch, you have to find a place and get it ready for a business. It's just one more, and find a house in a place where we know we have housing shortages. All of it put together becomes kind of just overwhelming in terms of actually getting the business started. So our intent is to have a more clearly defined path for someone to start their idea. We give them space that they can carry out their business and an apartment to live in at very, very low cost. And then during the time that they're there, we'll also help connect them with places to get financing. We'll help them solidify initial sales and get their business to a point that it is financeable. Sometimes what I see, too, is people, they have an idea, but it's not far enough along yet that it's really bankable. It's hard to get financing because it's not fully developed, or the sales prospects are just very speculative. If we can help get them closer to those kind of benchmarks, then A, it sets them up for more success as a business, but B, what we've also read is that 85% of businesses that are started in an incubator will choose to locate in the area in which they started, even after they graduate from the incubator. So it may be a way for us to stimulate the kind of business development that stays here long term that we otherwise aren't getting.
Carolyn Dunn with us, Ashley Bevan here on Focus on Stafford County today. We'll take another break, be back for our final segment of the show right after this. Welcome back. Focus on Stafford County today here on 1590 KVGB. Carolyn Dunn and Ashley Bevan joining us via telephone from St. John today. And Carolyn, I know you wanted to give us an update on what's going on with housing and some of the programs that you have going on there. I guess some families who are moving forward on construction. What's going on with that right now?
We have a total of 4 slots available in Stafford County for individuals who are interested in new housing construction. They have a choice of 3 house plans that can be built at $170,000. Those house plans have 3 bedrooms, 2 baths on the main floor, a full unfinished basement, but that has egress windows and rough-in plumbing that would allow for 2 additional bedrooms and a bathroom in the basement. 2-car attached garage. If they are in the moderate income category, they can qualify for this program, and the $25,000 subsidy will come at the point of closing so that they have very little requirement for a cash down payment and should be able to have a house payment that fits very well for a moderate income category. And we get to expand the inventory of housing here in the county that we know we need more of for just workforce housing. So we have a couple of families that look like they're moving forward with construction. We still have a couple of slots available. The construction can occur within the city limits of any town in Stafford County. What we're doing is we're working with kind of what we call infill lots. So, in other words, we're not going to the edge of town and building a new street and creating a new housing development. Rather, we think it's a more conservative use of taxpayer dollars to work with the places where we know we've already got the street and utility infrastructure. So we're going into empty lots where either a house has been and has been torn down, or in some cases we are utilizing where there's an empty, dilapidated house right now, and we'll tear it down. So it kind of also helps beautify the town by dealing with some of the blight issues that may exist. And in some cases, we're also turning around properties that have been tax delinquent, bringing them back on the tax rolls. So we hope it's kind of just a good civic project all the way around. We do have a couple of slots left.
Wow. And then finally, this is just a neat deal just from a standpoint that the community got going on this. I wasn't really positive that anything would ever come from it, but being from Pratt County, very familiar with the Highway 50 281 junction, and KDOT announcing plans to create a roundabout at that junction. But the community got really behind that. You had KDOT officials came down to St. John. I think they saw that Stafford County people really cared about this and were concerned about it. And lo and behold, it looks like something's going to get done down there.
Well, that's right. We've had news articles that says that they will be starting construction as early as October 2018, but they're starting the surveying and some of the planning process now. This has been a concern around here for a long time. There's just been a lot of visible, just kind of dramatic accidents at that intersection. Unfortunately, several fatalities. So something that can help alleviate that is very much valued here. So that was a nice announcement. We've, I think, known for some period of time it's on KDOT's kind of list, but it just took some time to kind of move up the list. In other words, there were other projects around the state that were kind of higher priority, but as time goes on and those projects are addressed around the state, that kind of moves our project up, and I guess we're now there at the top of the list where we want to be. I guess I might just kind of give people, I think one of the things that people might be curious about is what is going to be planned there, and what they've got proposed is a roundabout that's essentially got 2 concentric circles, one that accommodates smaller traffic on the center, and then a circle on the outside that's really more suitable for the large loads that we know we get around here. I think that's important because, again, whether it's local or, the things like wind turbines that are coming in from outside the area, it's important for this to accommodate big truck traffic well. If people are familiar with the roundabout that is in the Marion area, US 56 and 77, it would mimic fairly closely that roundabout, not the one at Florence. I think a lot of people have pointed out the one in Florence on US 50 and 77 is problematic because it's too narrow, and this one is proposed to be wider than that. So I'm hopeful that it meets the needs of the area well. Yeah,
very good description of that, because that's the first thing I thought, okay, I want to see one of those wind turbines go through there. and try to get around it, but it looks like that they're going to address that. Thank you for joining the show, Carolyn. Thanks, Ashley, and you guys have a good week, okay? That's today's Focus on Stafford County on 1590 KVGB. Stay tuned. News is next. Have a great day.